today I'm very excited that we have Marc Ryan on the podcast. Marc, you're a comedian.
Yes, indeed.
Please tell us more about what you do.
Well, firstly, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. It's an honour and a pleasure. So I am a stand-up comedian, but also with lived experience of suicide ideation and mental health struggles, PTSD, and everything that comes along with that kind of joy.
Yeah. So you have dark humor then.
I think it's more storytelling, and then we wrap the storytelling up in some hope and some joy, but also because one of my biggest trains of thoughts, and one of the biggest things I'm meditating on at the moment is duality. Right? Is we can be full of love and also hate at the same time. We can also I love life. I love life. Life is incredible. But also I've got this part of my brain that's like, we should kind of tap out soon, and learn to accept that that's what life is, and it's the same as humour, right? Like it can be dark and it can be hilarious.
Yeah.
At the same time, and without being offensive.
Yeah.
Comedy, we've got this whole big thing now where people are like, oh, comedy, you can't be offensive anymore. But why would you want to be offensive to people?
Yeah.
Or just make one group of people laugh at another group of people? To me, that's not humour. That's bullying.
That's cruel.
It's cruel, right? And it's very hanging fruit. I mean, like anyone can pick on the smallest groups or the most challenged groups in our society, right? I pick some heavy subjects to talk about. Like I'm very unafraid of death. Like death does not, because it's coming one day.
Yeah. Can't stop it.
I can't stop it. And people go, it's so grim. But is it? Because the opposite to death is life.
Yeah.
So, while we're still here, we just live it.
So, and I love this. I love the duality because it's so true. And with my conflict hat on, it's also true that you can be in conflict with somebody who you love or you get on famously with. Like there's often times when two things exist at the same time.
Yeah.
Regularly. Yeah. And so I love that. So tell me more about your stand-up comedy. Where do you do this? Who's your audience? What do you want to achieve with your comedy?
I think, like for me, and this sounds really corny, and I know there's heaps of influencers out there saying all the same thing, right? But I really hope that just at any point I can make one person breathe easier in life, right? And just let them know that I get it. Like I will never pretend to understand someone's life. Like I'm a city kid, I've got my own challenges, all that kind of stuff. I do a lot of work in rural communities, and I think a big part of that is not pretending to know. I'm not a farmer. I don't live out here. Like I don't know. Like I don't have. You don't have the services that I have. Like, but I get what loneliness is. I get what being depressed is. I know what self-hate is. I know what all the dodgy feelings and the dark, not dodgy because they're feelings, right? So they can't be dodgy, but all the dark feelings.
Yeah.
I understand that part. And on the same side, I understand what it is to want to be heard or to be seen and to matter to someone. So it's like, a lot of my work is out in the country or it's corporate work at the moment as well, because, a lot of people are trying to stop this suicide rate, and they're trying to stop people from ending their life. And it's a big thing at the moment. So, so that's a lot of my work's based around corporate or farming communities at the moment.
And so what's the hope? Tell me more about the hope. Tell me more about how the story brings hope.
Because I think if you can see, if someone who struggles like you can survive and have hope, then it brings hope to other people as well. Like it's a shared, like we can share our depression, we can do that. That's easy. We can sit in the mud together. But also when you can come out the side of it and laugh at some of the stuff in life. Like I've got 3 teenage boys. You talk about love and hate and duality at the same time. They are my lifeblood.
Yeah.
But they're also stinky human beings who I adore. But we just have to love them.
Yeah.
So it's the perfect duality. right?
Yeah.
And I do love them. I love them with all my soul. And maybe sometimes I like to think that maybe if we can just take the edge off some of the darker stuff
Yeah.
as well, right? And we can share that's the hope. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's, and yeah, and I think when we talk about suicidality, to some people it's very scary.
Yeah.
It's we can't talk about this, but in my experience, and I've only got lived experience, I'm not a clinician. I actually someone else recognizing that or talking about it is an Alexa to people that do struggle because they're like, oh,
Yeah.
finally we can talk about this. Like,
Yeah.
finally there's a space. And, I'm so blessed with my work that I get plenty of messages after shows of people going, no one talks about this. I'm like, I know, because it's scary. It's scary, the concept of someone ending their life, and it's tragic, and there's so many questions around it all. But to someone who lives with it, it really is a kind of, fresh a breath of fresh air and a bit of like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
understood.
Yeah. So it's I can see myself in somebody else. Like it's that relief of that I'm not alone.
And that's the whole hope of it, Kate, is that people aren't alone. That I see you.
Mm. Yeah.
You questioning yourself going, I've got all this stuff. I've got this good life. I've got this incredible farm. I've got this incredible, but why do I feel
Yeah.
like this is my only option now? Like, or why do I feel like this darkness is over? Like, and I can't answer their questions why,
No.
but I can meet them in the middle and go, but I get that part of it.
Yeah.
That's, and I'm blessed to be able to do it. Like, I don't take any of this for granted either. Like, this is, however it's played out.
Yeah. Tell me, and I saw you speak about a year ago and you just impressed me so much. Tell me how you got into stand-up comedy in this space. Like how did that start?
Well, I say this all the time. Like, I kind of only identified my suicide ideation in the last 5 years, right? Due to childhood trauma, I've lived with this since 14 or 15, right? I never understood it. I used to put on heavy metal shows back in the late 90s called Mosh Against Suicide, and we got local bands in, and like we'd raised heaps of money for Teen Challenge back then, right?
Yeah.
They were the only ones that had a suicide hotline,
Yeah.
and we raised heaps of money. And after that, such a big cool event with my favourite bands. That was, I was probably 17 or 18. I was my most at danger after those events, and I never understood why. Like, I just did this cool thing, and when it got breaking point, my firstborn son had just been born, and I got to breaking point, and I thought, I can't live with it. I couldn't understand. I don't know what's going on. Like, I've got what people would perceive to be the perfect life, but I really can't do this anymore. I went and saw a therapist through my workplace, and we had this discussion about what's going on, and he said, when was the last time you felt good in your soul, like happy in here,
Yeah.
right? And I said, I did a best man speech at my friend's wedding and made a heap of people laugh. And he kind of went, oh, what, so you want to be a stand-up comedian? And I'd never even crossed my mind. I'd never even thought about that. But it must have, like, that must have flickered in my eye, and he just goes, well, don't. If you're suicidal, that's the most vulnerable art form there is.
Yeah.
To stand on stage and to try and make people laugh is not a good idea if you're already struggling with the concept of life. Because I'm good at listening to doctors. Here we are.
So you're rebellious as well.
Well, I think at the start it was, if I'm being brutally honest, at the start it was the only time I wasn't thinking of ending my life when I
Okay.
was on stage, because
Okay.
I was present in the moment. Like, you've got to be present when you're in front of people, right? So I was
Yeah.
present, I was in the moment, I wasn't thinking about. And then I had another major breakdown 6 years ago. I had a trigger from past childhood trauma, and it sent me spiraling. And I thought, maybe if I use what I've picked up over 9 years, because I'd been doing stand up stand up for 9 years, and I thought, maybe can I now use this to help others and share my journey of going, look, I'm not all right. Like, I'm putting on a good mask, but really deep down, I'm really struggling. And so that's where, I come out, I did a series of shows called The Beautiful Bogan versus the Black Dog. And I toured that. And then an organisation in Port Lincoln, Mentally Fit EP, Lane and Emma down there saw it and was like, wow, that's really cool. So we toured it around Eyre Peninsula during the drought of 2020.
Yeah.
And then from there, it just kind of became a thing where, I found a niche, not so much the niche market, but like that people needed to hear
Yeah.
this kind of stuff, that they're not alone. And here we are.
And here you are.
Yeah.
Tell me, is your audience mainly men?
A lot of time I get booked for men's events, but what I found, and we know this, again, I work in this space now, but we know that mental illness doesn't discriminate, right? And suicidality doesn't discriminate. So while I do a lot of men's events, there's also a lot of women that reach out afterwards and go, hey, I kind of also feel like that. And I'm like, oh wow. And we know, obviously, mental illness doesn't discriminate. And I've actually been on a journey of self-love recently, because I really at my core have some self-loathing and self-hate issues. And, I've got a TV show coming up, or I recorded a TV show, and that's scary for me. To see myself on TV is a big thing. And I'm like, that's quite terrifying. So I've been trying to work out what self-love looks like. I've been talking to people who I think aesthetically you would say, oh, they're beautiful people. And they're like, oh, no, I can't see that. Oh, I don't know, beauty is more the skin deep, and I understand that 100%. But I was like, it's really confusing that people who you would think are beautiful or would seem so. And I'm like, so it started this really deeper conversation, I think, like especially on the inside of me as well.
Yeah. So you're working with mainly rural, but you could work in any environment.
Yeah. I work in, I think I work in any environment, right? And I can work in, like, I've got bookings coming up for Mental Health Month in all different kinds of office situations, warehouse situations, anywhere. Like, look, I do a lot of football clubs, and I'm not precious about anything. You give me a microphone, I don't even need a microphone, Kate. You just give me people. I will tell you this. This is I lean into the universe for everything, right? The universe is my provider. And some people are, it's a bit guru. No, it works for me, right?
Yeah.
But I will tell you, no word of a lie. I got booked for a nursing home show, right? And I rocked up, and it was a Jewish nursing home, right? With an hour's notice. I had an hour's notice. That was it. Right.
Okay.
Everyone deserves jokes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I've performed in prisons. I've performed anywhere anyone's interested in listening. Do you know what I mean? I've performed in sweaty tents at the Fringe. I take a lot of my Fringe shows out to the regional areas and different stuff like that. So yeah, anywhere and everywhere.
And we don't talk about it, and we definitely don't talk about it in workplaces.
No, and that's where I think a lot of the time we show up and we put our mask on. I just got to go to work. I just got to go to work. But yeah, underneath it's all dissolving, and it's all, it's all cracking away. And then there's pressures of work, and and workplaces, I guess they're trying, like they are, because, like, it's a cost to them when someone's not well.
Yeah.
And it's a cost, and on the other tragic side of it, the cost of losing someone is massive to a business, because, it's just not a lot of people get put in question. Do you know what I mean? Like, wow, what didn't we do? What did, people trying to be proactive about this stuff is good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, like I said, I've done places that people wouldn't even think of, like, what the heck is.
But really, really interesting. I mean, obviously, the farming environment, there is just this constant roller coaster of crisis. But the prison situation would be really interesting too, because I'd anticipate that a lot of people who end up in prison are also managing their own trauma or other, neurodivergency, or there are a whole lot of reasons why people end up being incarcerated.
Yeah. And they're humans.
And they're humans. Yeah.
Like, they're humans. They can also have a laugh. And I know there'd be people going, oh, but morally, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know, but they're human beings,
Yeah.
right? And they deserve something. Do you know what I mean? And they deserve to be seen as well. And maybe if more people were seen and more people sat down and because here's one thing I've learned is that I can't fix myself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can't pretend to fix anyone else.
Yeah.
It's just, hey, I don't have the answers, but I can sit with you and just do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all we need.
So your empathy is an enormous part of what you do.
100%, because
Yeah.
like for me personally, I hate it when people try and fix me. You should do this, you should do that. Stop. I know
No.
what I should do,
Yeah.
but I don't have the energy to do it right now. Right now, all I've got is what I'm in now.
Yeah.
So to keep saying, oh, you got to go for a walk, you got to go. No. Yes, we all know they're good things. But if you can't summon the energy to do it, don't make me feel like a scumbag for not doing it either.
No.
Because now you're just heaping pressure on me again. So I'm very much, yeah.
But the should is coming from somebody else's fear.
Yes.
It's wanting to help you, but it's actually also their own fear. I'll feel better if you do that.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the greater question, I think, and I have been pondering this for a long time because I'm a bit of a deep thinker, is the whole aspect of suicide prevention. Right, a lot of the time you talk to people, and especially like I'm very open about how my brain works, and but you can't do that. But why? Because you would feel guilty. Like that's got nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's the brutal truth of it. I love this thing. I heard this thing the other day. The fierce reality. Right, the fierce reality of life is my life's got nothing to do with you. Yeah, but I'll miss you. Yeah, you would miss me.
Yeah.
But what about the pain I'm feeling? Like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not like truly believe in autonomy and agency when it comes to our lives, right? But I think, like for me, I want to. I've got this new, I guess, thing in my stand-up where I'm trying to encourage people. Okay, let's not focus on the dying part. Let's focus on the living as well, because living is cool.
Yeah.
Coffee is amazing. Like we've talked over Instagram before about cricket. Cricket is amazing.
Cricket's amazing.
You know what I mean? Like Test cricket is the best thing in the world. I don't care what all the young kids want to say. Test cricket is...
Test cricket, you cannot beat it.
You cannot beat Test cricket. And that's what I think on the next level is trying to get to people going, hey, look, now we've worked out that ending your life is you've got one, right? And we don't know what happens in the next, right? But while you're here, I understand that you've got, trying to get back to that duality is like, you can have those feelings, but you can also live a life. And when you get tired, and when they get too much, just go to bed. Go rest.
Yeah. Go and rest.
Yeah. Look, last night I've been very honest and vulnerable. Like I've been pretty good for the last few weeks. And then last night I got on top of me really bad, and I really was struggling. So I just went and cried in bed until I fell asleep. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was just tired. I just got so tired of a lot of different things. And I'm honest about my feelings with people, right? But it just got too much. I just got exhausted. And so I didn't try and pretend to be anything I wasn't. I just went to bed and just laid in bed and watched TV and fell asleep and did that kind that. So,
So you took yourself to a safe space.
Yeah, you take yourself to a safe space.
Yeah. Yeah. And life can be overwhelming.
It's very overwhelming. And, I had an interesting conversation with someone the other day. What's your diet like? And I was like, well, to be honest with you, like I'm 134 kilos. It's not great because I like chocolate and I like sausage rolls, right? But then they're like, no, what are you watching? What are you letting in? And I was like, ooh, that was a bit of a deeper question. Do you know what I mean? And, I have this really horrible habit of making a coffee in the morning and putting the news on. Really? Because the world's going to go on without me watching the news.
Yeah.
So maybe I should put some music. And they're like, maybe you should put some music on. Like maybe, what are you reading at the moment? Not really reading. I don't have time. But you do.
You have time.
It's just reframing.
Yeah. But I do love that, the safety net of just go to bed.
Just go to bed.
Just go to bed.
Yeah.
That's one of my favourite go-tos when,
Yeah.
like, the world's a bit much. I'm with you. Like, sometimes I just need a day in bed.
And I really, in the world of TikTok and the world of social influencers and all that kind of rubbish, right? And you got these dudes at the gym, oh, you just got to be more resilient. No, you don't. No, you don't. If you live with a spicy brain like my brain's spicy, you've survived 100% of your worst days up to now.
Yeah.
You're already resilient.
Yeah.
Like, pat yourself on the back. You're already resilient. You've already got through. You know, I saw a funny thing on the weekend. Tuesday night, my son plays basketball for North Adelaide Rockets, and he made this incredible pass, and it led to a basket, and so it was an assist. And no one else, but he patted himself on the back, and everyone noticed that he patted himself on the back. And I was like, in the car, I was like, did you pat yourself on the back? He's, yeah, no one else was going to, right? And I think sometimes,
Yeah.
as silly as that looks, sometimes we've got to go, you know what? No, patted myself on the back for this. I've got through all this up until now. I'm strong, I'm resilient, and I like laying in bed when I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. Yeah. Just give yourself a break. I think we're in a world that is so driven, and sort of the concept of just stopping and going to bed is sort of like you've failed or you're not performing or whatever. But we are human. We need fuel, and sometimes that fuel is rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, you know, I struggle with my weight, right? Like, and I'm up and down like a yo-yo, and because, you know, and I'm not one of the people, you know, there's some people that when they're overwhelmed, when they're stressed, they lose weight.
Yeah.
I stack weight on like a madman. Do you know what I mean? Like everything I eat is, and I do struggle with drinking, and I'm better at it now. But I also struggle, you know, and that's not good for my weight either, right? But there's sometimes when what's the better option? Do you know what I mean? Like fighting this all the time, and I'm not advocating for drinking through pain. Like we've got to sit with the pain, but sometimes it just gets too much. So sometimes, you know what, I have a drink, right? And I'm not going to be guilty for that. I feel guilty because it's just what it is, right? But I do think like with less, yeah, and we know that alcohol is a depressant, right? So it's not a great option. But you know, sometimes I've said to myself, well, you know what? That cream bun from Billy's is better than a few beers. So I'll just eat this donut or whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, just minimise the risk. You go, you know what? I'll just have a pizza tonight, and that will help crave some of that stuff.
And I think what we're talking about here is a trauma response, and so many people have trauma in their lives, and I don't think we always understand it. We don't always recognize it in ourselves, but there is significant trauma in amongst our community.
Oh, and that's why for me it's so important to be kind. Do you know what I mean? Because I sometimes, you know, I envision trauma like a wedding dress train. Do you know what I mean? And people are walking around with it without knowing really
Yeah.
what, you know. Some people haven't done the work, and they just know that this certain thing upsets them and it triggers them, and then we can just be unsuspecting victims, and we walk past and we step on someone's trauma, or we step on their train or whatever, and all of a sudden, hey, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. Like, but they don't know, and I don't know their trauma.
No, I think that's right. And I think we see that a lot in workplaces where there is these trauma responses and people are responding to somebody unintentionally treading on their trauma. And and it creates these enormous, you know, and that's a big response. So without being curious, and that's not helpful.
And I think, like, without sounding too, like, I think one of the greatest TV shows ever was Ted Lasso.
Oh,
Right? I don't know if you've seen it, but the fact that he was, you know, like curiosity, and I do work with Leland, which are lived experience, leadership, and advocacy, or I'm sure, but a lot of that is about being curious. like let's just be curious. Let's just ask
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
I had someone in a past life. I was heavily involved in the church, and I had someone come up to me one day and go, what church are you going to? Why? And just, hey,
Yeah.
slow down, man.
Yeah.
And then they sent me an email and they said, oh, I'm sorry for that. I'm like, you should be sorry because you don't know everything. You should just be curious. And does it matter where you go or what you do? We're different phases. We're in different phases of life. We go through stuff. We work through stuff. But that curiosity is such. I love that I've learned that
Yeah.
because it just makes those flashpoints sometimes a little bit more like, hey,
Yeah.
there's no judgment.
Yeah. We don't have to.
No.
Yeah, it is fascinating. I just came across this fantastic term called comfortable ignorance. And I
Wow.
really love it because it's somebody who works in the conflict space, but he said he feels comfortably ignorant. Like, I don't need to know. And there's so much I don't know, and I can find it out by asking questions. So be comfortable in being ignorant about what is going on for somebody, and then you can explore it.
I remember being in a previous life. I was almost a youth pastor, right, in a church. And now, sometimes people be like, if I saw 20-year-old me now, I'd be so proud. No, if I saw 20-year-old me now, I'd kick him in the face. He deserves a punch in the face, and he deserves to, because he was an idiot, because he thought he had every answer to everything, right? And now, and I can have grace on him now, right? Previously, I haven't been able to, right? Because I was an ignorant, judgmental, rude human being, right? And I always had this kindness. I've always been a kind human, but when I look at some of the stuff that he said and stuff that he thought he knew, what are you thinking? Well, you know nothing. Some of those words that come out of your mouth, you need a slap in the head. But I think and I think when I think of that, the term you just said, like Lewis Thoreau is probably one of the best at that, where he's just like, I don't know. When he interviews people, he's just like, tell me.
But just think about 20-year-old Mark and the trauma and the bravado that protected him from the world around him. Being that person at you at 20 to now, the things you've learned.
Which is the most beautiful thing, because I've unlearned so much to learn the fact that I don't know anything. I just don't know.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's the greatest thing in the world. I love the poet Rumi. I can't remember the whole poem, but The Great Wagon. And it says, beyond your idea of right doing and wrong doing, right, there's this field. Because we grow up with all these narratives, and we all fight these narratives all the time about life and what we should or shouldn't be doing, right? But really, just be.
Yeah.
And let's go to this field and let's just accept each other, warts and all, and go, hey,
let's drop the should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Let's just drop it, and let's, and that's the thing I really struggle with, like past narratives and different things where you should do this, you should know, you shouldn't. Yeah.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Just be.
And I spend a lot of time. I've got this really good friend of mine, and we go swimming in the ocean, which has made difficult recently because there's algae bloom or whatever. But we'll go in 6:30 in the morning. We'll go at Brighton. We'll go into the ocean and we'll just sit, and we call it the field, right? Beyond the idea of right and wrong doing, there's this field. Let's go lay there and speak without words. And they're the most beautiful relationships. And I hope that some part of my work can develop a space where we drop the shoulds and we just be and go, hey.
Yeah.
Just,
That is beautiful. And that's a really good place to close up this fantastic conversation. I love the drop the shoulds. And I also love the go to bed and just rest when you're overwhelmed. It's okay. You can just go to bed and be. You don't have to, it's a safe space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think the more, again, we drop the shoulds, I should be, it's just.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing what's such an important story. And I love that duality of humour and comedy around a topic which people don't often feel comfortable speaking about. It's fantastic.
Thank you so much for having me on your podcast, Kate. I really appreciate it.
Cool.